All right, so thinking of the way that your PLC used to operate, what's the biggest challenge? What was the biggest challenge for your team?
So before, the test was way too long and in-depth, and it took forever to grade, sometimes 3 days. So sometimes I wouldn't even get them all checked before our data analysis, and I would just kind of go on my own assumptions based on what I had seen so far.
Yeah, I would say because the tests were so long and in-depth, our data protocols would sometimes even last a couple meetings to disaggregate all that data. I felt like it was hard to remember where we left off, and it wasn't very timely. And then, to be honest, I kind of felt like we were just going through the motions. I didn't really feel like we were leveraging one another's strengths and the fact that we had a PLC team that could impact student learning.
For sure. With those protocols lasting so long, I felt like we had to move on to new material, and so I just helped students the best I could. And then by the time we got here, my plan was my plan in class, and this discussion wasn't really going to alter what I did. So, like you said, it was just kind of happening to happen.
So describe an adjustment your PLC made and how it impacted your PLC process and teaching.
So for our shake making part of our food service unit, we used to give a pretty long quiz with several sections, and then it had a paragraph response and a demonstration. Mm-hmm. And we'd do this after several weeks of instruction. So we decided to break that CFA into smaller parts this year, and we were more intentional about how we could gather that information about student learning quickly instead of spending forever grading and pulling out the data. Now we're more timely in our data collection, and it allows us to analyze the data more frequently. It definitely gives us more precise and manageable and focused data to help this PLC change instruction.
Yeah, I would say because that precise data is so quick and easy to sort by proficiency, there's hardly any turnaround time. Our data protocol analysis is able to occur almost immediately, and we can always complete it in one meeting now. And now I feel like a timely response to that data in our classrooms is actually possible.
Yeah, like you said, because we have our data protocol analysis far more quickly now, we can talk about what instructional strategies were most effective, and I can use that to better help my students that need intervention or extension. I can use the results to intentionally group students in my classes and differentiate. It's just a piece of cake now. I feel like I'm now being more proactive to my teaching and helping students rather than only being reactive after the fact. So more of us together are better.
Mm-hmm. So really you're just finding that overall this is a much more useful time because you can do something with the data that you're finding.
Absolutely.
I was kind of wondering, are you also finding that because of these checkpoints and the smaller conversations you're having, as you get them prepared for your big quiz that you used to give, that you still give but you don't do the CFA on, are you finding better results from those quizzes now that you're doing the checkpoints along the way?
I think it just helps us kind of zero in on those specific skills instead of trying to look at this holistic data piece that's so large and broad. It was really hard to dive into those specifically. Now it's just super pinpointed and quick and easy.
Mm-hmm. It's a little early to tell, but it does seem like because we're doing this more frequently, we're able to catch the little things faster. And so my hunch is that they're going to do a lot better when we get to the bigger ones because we're catching those little things early. So,
I would agree with that, and I think that in the past, sometimes even our course, I feel like it really builds on itself. And in the past, when we waited so long before we were able to dig down into what we were seeing in their learning, it felt like a lot of the things that they had learned later on, they had learned incorrectly or had a misconception about because of this stuff that they missed a long time back. And so I'm glad that we're able to catch that quickly.
Thanks, Michelle.
Hey, thank you guys.
Shake making, baby.
Shake making.
Can we all look at the camera and go, it's shake and making, I helped.
Yes.
For the blooper reel.
Yeah.
One.
It's shake making.
What? I helped.
What are you saying?
It's what? Shake making.
Oh, it's shake making.
Shake and make?
And I helped.
I like that better anyway.